Well, hello, principles of management. How are you? This is Mr. Argueta coming to you week number two. So week number one was a little rocky start. As I had told you, my voice was a little weak. My tone has been a little rough. So it's very difficult to kind of talk for more than a few minutes without losing my voice. Excuse me about that. But that said, we're on track now, and I think we're ready to go. So here's where we're at. We're in week number two. We're going to be talking about shaping culture and mastering ethics and decision making. In our discussion, we're going to focus on decision making. And the actual assignment's not that difficult. It's going through the different types of ethical perspectives and you looking at the one you think you use the most or the combinations of the ones you use and have a discussion, internal, almost like an internal dialogue or an internal self-analyzation in regards to what your decisions are based on. And a couple of the ones that I like to focus on is, of course, there's a type that's called deontological ethics. And then there's another one that's kind of not the opposite, but kind of the opposite, called universalism, or also called utilitarianism. And utilitarianism especially work well not against, but sort of in contrast to deontological. Deontological is a ethics base that tells us that there's a supreme power, overarching God that dictates what's right and what's wrong, tells us how to live life and what to do. And a lot of faith-based people have this sort of standard. And then we have the universal utilitarianism. That principle in that is that the good for all, good for most equals out the right way to do things. Or better stated, the end result of a decision that we make justifies how we got there. So let me briefly explain this to you in a couple of stories. One is the trolley scenario. Some of you might have heard of it. There's a train or a trolley going at a high rate of speed down a track. It's moving down the track. And you notice that the track's going to split between right and left. And you go to slow down and your brakes fail. So now you have no method of braking the trolley, stopping the trolley. And I understand that 99.9999 of us will never be in this situation. However, that's not the purpose of this self-analyzation. The purpose is to force you to think, even if you don't make a decision per se. You think at that moment, what would you do? You think at this moment, how would you process the decision? And on the right, there are 10 adults. We know nothing about them. And on the left, there's one child. We know nothing about that child. What direction would you go? People are going to die. You are the conductor of the train. There is no way to stop. There's no excuse. You can't jump out of the train. You have to, in this exercise, have to make a decision. Period. I know for my deontological people, they feel this guilt. It's understandable, respectable. But you have to make a decision to understand what your ethical perspective is. Are you going to go right and kill 10 random adults? Are you going to go left and kill one child? Then we ask the question, why? Why did you do that? And that's where ethics kick in. Okay? The next question is, what do you think about lying? Is it ever okay to lie? Is there a situation, not only is it okay, is it actually good to lie? And again, think of those two perspectives to get started. The ontological people will say, no, it's never okay. Lying is wrong, it's bad. To a certain extent, you might even say, God said never to lie, it's bad. Then the other person's going to say, well, the end result of the lie, if it's good, justifies that I had to lie. So you tell me what your thoughts are. You let me know if in your world right now at this moment, what decisions would you make, and or is it ever okay to lie? Next week I'll be sharing my perspective. I'll be sharing my perspective about lying. I'll be sharing my perspective about the trolley. And I'll kind of go from there. All right, guys. As I said, I apologize. These videos are a little shorter than I usually make them because it's hard for me to continue to talk after a while. Hopefully I get better soon. I have a trip to Chicago this weekend, which will be very rough because it's going to be about negative 11 degrees. It's already cold in Georgia, and I'm worried that the snow and ice and cold weather here in Georgia is not going to let me get back in. I'm supposed to be back on Sunday, so I could be back doing everything that I normally do on Monday. We will see how that works out. So, until then, my friends, take care. We'll see you in the next video.